After suffering through 8 episodes of American Horror Story Delicate, 6 months apart from each other, I have finally reached my level of annoyance with the series. We are 8 episodes in of a 9 episode season, and we still have very little information. Now, I do think the opener was extremely strong. I think we were following the momentum from episode 7, which had me extremely optimistic, but after the way it ended, I don't really know where it can go from here. And I think we're getting about as much information in the commercials as we'll actually get in the episode. If this next episode does not pick it up, I can see this being the end unless they can really do something to shock the audience. Anyways, I wanted to talk about the naming conventions in this season of American Horror Story because I think they are important. So leave your theories if you guys have any additional information on what these names will mean, and let's get into it. So the name Anna has a lot of origins, but it means grace or favored. I think this is fitting with her character. She's somebody who is favored by this cult or this coven of witches that we are dealing with in this season. Dex is the one that's really interesting to me because I looked into his name, and Dex or Dexter means right hand, and I think it's interesting that Dex is a junior, so him and his father have been playing this role this entire time, and I think that's starting to show up more each episode that we get, especially of Dex. Now, we always knew his father was a little bit crooked, but I was hoping he would be a decent guy. Nicolette is Greek. It is a derivative of the word for Nike. And so I am curious because I said that in another video I made that we have a distinction between those with Irish, Gaelic, and Celtic names versus those with Greek-inspired names. And then we have some other random ones thrown in here too. So I'm curious to see what she's going to do. I didn't look into Dr. Andrew yet, but Kamal is really interesting because from my research, the Sanskrit for perfection, rebirth, and completion. And so Kamal appears to be an almost perfect looking man, in my opinion. And so I think that's actually really fitting. And obviously, I think he's part of this cult, or at least a henchman. Now, Talia is one of the ones that interest me too, because Talia has one of these Greek names, much like Nicolette does. And Talia is one of the muses. She is the, and it means, flourish, blossom, and one of the goddesses of fertility, depending on which lore you read about the muses. But I think that's interesting. I should also note that we have 9 episodes and 9 muses, but I'm not even sure if they tie together. And then we have the Ashley, first Ashley, and basically that means ash, meadow, or tree. Somebody pointed that out in my last video. And then I forgot about Hamish. I should have really Googled him. Siobhan's name is really interesting to me because her name means God is gracious or God gives, and then her last name is Corbin, and that is a word for crows. And so I think that's fitting with the costumes they wear. They're crow raven-like. And then I think it's really interesting because Siobhan is the one who tends to give all of these things to these women in exchange for something else. So, and then we have Sonia, the evil twin. It's a Greek name. Yep, Sonia is a Greek name from my research, and that means wisdom. And then we have Io Preacher. I gave that story the other day. Io is a Greek name for a woman who was impregnated by Zeus and ran out of Greece into Egypt. And then Preacher because she's been trying to preach to Anna. Anna's not trying to hear her. And then we have Triflin as Cora. That's Greek and it means maiden or virgin. And I think that's interesting because later in the episode we get when Siobhan is talking to Anna about how Dex cheated on her with Cora, she calls her an infant basically, and I'm like, yeah, she definitely does have a baby face, so that's a bit weird. Then we have other Ashley, and that is dweller near the ash tree, which makes sense because they kind of come in tandem to each other. Then we have Adeline. That actually is another really interesting one to me as well because that means nobility, and I think that's interesting because she was the one who was impregnated before Anna came into the picture. So between her and Anna, they both have these themes of nobility, being favored, being graced. And so I think that's an interesting comparison. And then the two not pictured are Ivy. That just means vine, obviously, but it's a vine that chokes the life out of people. But it can also mean eternity, and it is also Greek in origin. But anyways, if I'm missing anyone, just let me know and I'll see you in my next video. Hopefully I won't be as agitated there.